I am the king of this land, with financial problems, haunted by my past, and surrounded by family chaos. I'll have to survive 100 days holding my kingdom together, balancing the needs of the people, my daughter's pranks, and the constant threat of going broke. From negotiating with other kingdoms, fighting in the heat of battle, planning war strategies, to even dealing with this. I have to go from rock bottom all the way to a king of legends. Things didn't go as I expected. Here we go. I spent 100 days in Yes Your Grace Snowfall. We began already in trouble. My friend Lord Jakub asked me for help against an invasion. Kafka's army was imminent. My wife told me not to get involved and avoid problems. But he was a friend, and I decided to help. We needed to set up a trap for the enemy here, but to do so, we needed to fix the walls in my kingdom. Before that, I had to take care of the petitioners. First person was a peasant. With the cold and the wet weather, their fence posts didn't hold up like they used to. Last night, they woke up to find all their livestock gone. She was a farmer, so it was an awful situation. She asked to spare some strong hands to help round up all their stock. To help them, I had to fill up the satisfaction bar to the first green point. The only agent I had available was Stan. Each time I sent an agent to work on a task, it would cost action points. I decided to help. She was grateful. Their little village wouldn't forget this. Helping petitioners granted me prosperity. Higher prosperity would result in higher taxes. Last petitioner of the day. A vicious storm blew their township last night. There were fallen trees everywhere, roofs smashed in. They needed hands to clean up and make repairs. I sent my agent. They were thankful. That was all for this week's requests. I got up the throne and went to see the general. This is the map of my castle. I could go to any of these locations. I headed to the council room. I asked him what was our plan to help Lord Jakub. We needed to gather a few basic supplies to create an outpost, so we could drive Kafka right where we wanted him. We found 3 sites that could be suitable. Each had its strengths and weaknesses. I needed to take a look at my map and mark the location I wished to prepare. We had 3 weeks to decide. Then there was the wall. The master builder was awaiting me at the construction site. He should provide me with all the details. As I unlocked points of interest, they will be displayed on the map. The first 3 visible points indicated the 3 outpost sites: the curvy thicket, the northern footbridge, and the straw village. Next, I talked with Sedani. I asked her if she was ready for Azalia's arrival, her sister. Azalia will be visiting us in 8 weeks. She didn't know what to gift her. Since she really enjoyed sword fighting, I suggested a duel, but she didn't seem to like the idea. There was a problem. The recent limestone deliveries were thinner and thinner. We were missing some rocks that would help us build the whole thing. We needed 3 tons to be done. Reaching the end of week 1, the prosperity I received could now be converted to gold. In this tab, I could view my royal agents. I needed to pay their salary to refresh their action points. Besides Stan, the general, I also had Alena, the witch. Prosperity will reset to 0 every week. Knowing that, I collected all the taxes and paid the salary of both my agents. With everything ready, it was time for week 2. Audrey said that we should pay attention to the outposts on the map. I needed to pick the one that I thought was best, or the one we could afford. My wife, she wondered how Timo was adjusting. I told her I will look in on him. First petitioner, name was Yanka, a trader, trading all kinds of trinkets and artifacts. Most recently, rare creatures. The Swans had stolen his lions. The Swans were a famous bandit gang. He was transporting some lions when the Swans ambushed him on the road. Now the lions were gone. This gang wasn't supposed to be this close to here. They were elegant bandits, stealing from you and then apologizing right after. At least 3 lions escaped their cages when the Swans attacked his car. He just asked for me to keep an eye out for them. He will compensate me for my effort and time. The local inn north of here could be a good place to start the search. He would be at the wall. The petitioner said that the children in their village had fallen ill. They came up with spots, then fever, itching. This was the perfect task for our witch. She was very skilled at treating illness. I sent Alina away. Next petitioner said that she loved her cats. The farmer next to her started luring their cats and feeding them whatever garbage they wanted. The cat came home less and less often, and when she did, she got fatter and fatter. She was worried about the cat's nutrition. This quest required extra agent time to complete successfully, or send the both of them. This was a luxury problem, with winter coming and all, so unfortunately I had to decline this. Next petitioner was a blacksmith by trade. His force supplied breastplates to the king's own army. He wanted to make finer work, to perform silversmithing. I had items in my inventory that matched this quest's tags. Using the hammer and sending Stan was enough to complete this quest. As petitioner of the week said that part of the sky fell down. She was minding her own business when a huge smoking hunk of rock crashed down into her field. Out of nowhere, some of their cows were gone. She needed to clean the place up. It looked like we may not have enough resources to help this person. Helping everyone was not possible. Audrey said that we should send this peasant away and hope for the best. Even using everything I had, it wasn't possible to reach success. I had to decline. This would cause the population's happiness to fall, and when happiness falls to zero, my kingdom would fall. Leaving the throne room, I went to check on Sedani. She had an idea to give Asalia a proper welcome. She asked if I could pass her a mug. Something wrong happened with the mug. I told her her sister would be happy to see her, and to not worry much about trying to impress her. Besides, a prank wasn't the best idea. Next, I went to the bedroom. I asked how the prince was holding up. How was she holding up? She hoped there was a way we could heal his ailment. I told her we would get through this. We still needed to gather 3 tons of limestone to rebuild the wall, but I wasn't sure how to order them or how to get them. But then, the man who was looking for their lions sold some limestone. 8 pieces of gold for 1 ton. I bought 1 of them. Lastly, I sent an agent to the Sleazy Weasel. My man found the local tavern. The innkeeper did not seem very happy to have royal units come marching in. What do you want here? The agents asked to speak with the innkeeper about monsters and mythical beasts. The innkeeper glanced around. The last hunting trip of the year before winter set off for the forest not too long ago. They passed through here and told us they were headed up north for the mighty oak. If I were to guess, they knew something, and that's where your beast is at. But it might be a tricky situation getting there. Going over the high bridge will not be an easy feat right now, due to situations with the roads. You can also take the long way around through the open fields, but it will be costly, and only gods know what you might encounter. The folks at Sahu village could probably help you find a faster way. The agents left. I decided to explore this Staho village. My agents entered the small village, no more than 5 families sharing 2 huts and a little barn. Everywhere they turned, they saw ruined fences and rotting barrels, and the stench of cow manure hung in the air. There was no sign of a lion, but the scattering of people still made a great commotion. "My husband is missing," a woman wailed again and again. The village elder who was comforting her turned to the royal agents. He told them he wanted to see the king at Revno Castle regarding a beast and the missing person. Then he sent the agents on their way with a piece of bread. Crumbs, really. Got an item and some prosperity. A bottle of wine. With no more supplies to use, we reached the end of week 2. I would need supplies to explore locations on the map. I could convert prosperity into supplies too. I got some gold, some supplies. I paid the salary of both of my agents and advanced to week 3. We needed to choose the location for the outpost today. First petitioner said that bad omens had fallen upon their village. First, there was a terrible growling, like the very sky was tearing itself apart. Then, their livestock started disappearing mysteriously. Everyone grew hungry and sick. They say an evil beast made its lair in the mighty oak. They told me to leave the place. If I insisted on investigating the mighty oak, well, they could show me the way, but they feared further curses from the beast. He asked if I could spare some food or medicine. Even supplies would be welcome. I had some wine to give them, which was good against illness. But even with that and Elena, it wasn't enough. I had to use both of my agents to be able to complete the quest. He said to tell my men to head north of the village. They would find markings on the trees that would take them to the oak in no time. This hidden path would only take 1 supply, so I sent my men there. Brambles and overgrowth practically hid the path, but after a few scratches, the agents saw the old oak looming at last. We got some metal and prosperity. But to reach the mighty oak, I would need 6 supplies, which I didn't have. Continuing with the next petitioner, she said that beasts were haunting their land for my amusement. She asked if I wasn't the one who let lions loose to terrorize the villages. She asked if it wasn't my order that these new toll stations had sprouted along the roadways. Toll stations? She said that the swans were right. I drove people to desperation on purpose so that I could swoop in to play the hero. I told her to not believe the swans, but she didn't believe me. It can be rather difficult to reason with the populace. Someone may be stirring up the people's discontent for their own benefit. This petitioner said that he had to move the hay into the barn for the winter. After working, he lit a small bonfire to warm up some soup. Everything was going well until a little bunny came from behind the barn. Going after the thing, he came back to the whole barn on fire. Now all the hay was gone. The pigs had no shelter or food for the winter. He wanted to redeem himself somehow. We will see if we had enough to help him. This task could improve my reputation. Allocating more resources and reaching the bonus pins would result in a higher prosperity reward. Just with a single agent, I would have success. But there was no way I could reach the bonus pins, not even using every action point. I sent Stan away. The petitioner said that week after week, her mother sent a new lad to her door, men thinking they got themselves a new wife. She told her mother she ain't looking to marry. She wanted an agent of mine. She would bring them back. She wanted one to parade around so her mom would leave her alone. She would see she got someone and the matchmaking would stop. This was a potentially fruitful request. To gather additional rewards, I should try to position my agents on the gift effect. Putting an agent on the pin would grant me with the gift. She was really thankful. Last petitioner of the week, their most special pig had fallen ill. This was no ordinary pig. Cruselman Horsius was a special pig, one who occupied an important seat among their village elders. If they didn't treat his illness, they wouldn't be able to hold a vote. Special pig, okay. It was pretty easy to reach a bonus, but even with the wine and an agent, I didn't have enough to reach the bonus, so I sent Elena. Occasionally, individuals will offer their services. I could accept their help and they would become my agent. New agents would be added to the agent panel. Someone appeared. They wanted to present me with a gift. Gift? Whose head was on my floor? This was one of the swans. Had just about enough of these people around my parts. Heard one of them in the taverns quacking about how they ran this country. No more. If I liked this man help turning some white feathers red, he would be my man. That was exactly what I needed right now. I was in no position to turn down the help. Now, Oleg was one of my agents. Leaving the throne room, I went to the wall. I bought the limestones I needed. With that done, I talked with the master builder. The wall will be up by next week. Lastly, I needed to choose an outpost location by the end of week 3. The curved thicket was a maze to the enemy, but well known to us. If we built an outpost in the thicket, our soldiers could hide themselves among the trees and attack when the enemy rides through, pushing them towards our walls. The drawback was that this was the furthest location from our castle. It would take longer to push Kafka towards the wall. The woods were also challenging from a visibility standpoint. Total chaos seemed just as likely as success. Still, time was short and supplies were few. Choosing this site would be better than nothing. Then, I checked the northern footbridge. Lord Jacob would cross the northern footbridge and Kafka's army would shortly follow. If our armies lied in wait on the riverbank, we would be able to surprise the enemy and control their direction. The thick canes and grass should provide us with more than enough of a hiding spot. This location looked like a good choice for the outpost, even though it required a little more work to prepare. The location was not far, but the mud and the cold might prove challenging. Lastly, I checked the straw village. During last year's war, Atana left nothing but a field of despair. Rumors say the village was haunted, filled with all the rags and bones. It might take some extra convincing for our men to stay at this location. Kafka's army might not be aware of these rumors, but surely even they won't think to try to look through the rubble. The location was closest to Gravno, meaning it would be the easiest to push the enemy towards the wall. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough resources to choose the northern footbridge or the straw village. I only could choose the curvy thicket. It wouldn't give us good results, but it was better than nothing. With that done, our men began putting together a campsite where they would wait to ambush Kafka's men. I told Audrey that the outpost location was ready. He would send for Lord Jacob immediately. The wall was in progress, but it looked like we could easily get it done in time for his arrival. Lastly, I tried searching for Sedani. She wasn't in the council room, which was strange. I tried looking for her at the bedroom. There she was. The queen asked them to watch the babies. I told Timo his father would be back soon. Your Grace, the wall. What happened here? Magic. What else could it be? A bad spell for certain. Guards, clear out the rocks, search the rubble, and help the wounded. I want the full report on the casualties, equipment, damage, delays. The collapse of the castle wall left Brevno vulnerable. The threat to my kingdom increased. Lord Jacob was on the way, with Baron Kafka close behind. If the wall was not repaired in time, disaster would be certain. The threat is raising by 20 points. If the threat reached maximum, I would lose my kingdom. Week 4. A soldier came with a report on the wall collapse. 2 soldiers have a concussion. The chef had broken his arm. The master builder was dead, and at least 10 men had minor injuries. We seem to have found a replacement. He was awaiting at the site. My pigeon brought a letter. It was from Jakub. Eric, I have received your signal. We are on our way to you. With Kafka's army not far behind, let us crush them against your walls. We should reach Grevno within the next 4 weeks. See you soon, my friend. Jakub, this is bad. With the wall in this condition, we couldn't possibly face Kafka's army. Wouldn't be easy to reach Jakub while he was on the move. I would be unable to stop Kafka's men right now, as it is. I needed to get that wall fixed. The threat would increase every week. If it reached maximum, everything would be over. First petitioner. Consulman Perseus was well again. The pig I saved, they gave me some food. Small token of their thanks. Then my wife asked if I was up for this today. She was worried. Well, what choice did I have? She was worried about my stress levels. Actually, she wanted to discuss something with me, perhaps later today. I told her we would do so. First petitioner said they were clearing a forest for a new pasture strip. One of the trees they cut down didn't land where they thought it would. Their dad didn't hear well, so they tried shouting at him, but he was too lost watching some birds. The tree fell on him and his leg got trapped under one of the branches. They got him out from under the log, but the leg was smushed to a pulp. It would be possible to get a bonus, but I would need to spend 2 action points. This would grant me a lot of prosperity, which I could turn into gold or supplies. I decided to send both of my agents to reach the bonus. Next peasant suggested we gather goats and train them to do tricks, to have a little circus ring. The children will love it, and the villagers will lighten up again. Some petitioners may try to swindle me for their benefit. I should try to spot disingenuous peasantry. Declining them could increase my happiness. Doing this increased my happiness to 40. Last person of the day said their village was overrun by thugs. At first they thought they were the swans, but Junek said he knew something of them. They were threatening their children. This was a dangerous request. I needed to make sure my agents avoided the wound effects. This specific pin. Oleg could take care of this. My kingdom level went up. Leaving the throne room, I went to the bedroom, talked to my wife. We needed to discuss our next steps. She spoke with the doctor. There was hope. We will need to prepare a cure. Poppy seeds are meant to ease the pain. Since he was so small, we wouldn't need much, but it wasn't easy to obtain them. We didn't have a lot of time. The longer we waited, the less chance the cure would be successful, and we would need to take more drastic measures. Maybe I could strike a deal. My son had a tail. Would a poppy seed cure help it to go away? Oh no, it was Timo. He was hidden behind the mirror. Needed to make sure he didn't tell anybody. Sarani, it was a prank. I told Timo if he could keep a secret. Took him to swear and he wouldn't tell anybody. He promised. As for Sarani, I told her her mother was upset. Lastly, I explored the mighty oak. The royal agents made a long journey to the mighty gnarled oak that stood like a fortress in the forest. Inside, the cavernous trunk lay the golden body of an enormous creature with dagger's edge claws and a wild mane. On closer inspection, agents saw a dark blood stain on the oak and blood mating the lustrous fur. The magnificent beast had died in the wood, far from its home. Perhaps a hunter found it. Yanka won't be pleased her cargo didn't survive. I went to the wall to meet the new master builder. I asked him what caused the accident last week. He said it was termites. But how did that happen? He said it was the poor scaffolding work, the crane, a weak beam, loose nails, poor lack of attention to detail. The 3 tons of limestone wouldn't be enough. We needed 10, and we would need the delivery at least 1 week in advance. So 3 weeks to gather everything. Our regular limestone quarry is having encountered roadblocks lately, toll collectors. There were 3 toll stations in the way, one up north, one in the southwest, and one he wasn't sure of. But Marcel, the delivery lad, might know. He was around some inn. If we removed the tolls, we would have no issues getting the limestone that we needed. With the money that I had, I could buy 3 tons of limestone, but wasn't sure if I should spend that amount of money now. I needed to dispose of all illegal tolls, but I didn't have enough supplies. I would need at least 9 supplies, and I had 0 now. I reached the end of week 4. I now was able to pass various laws of Daver. My kingdom level will determine how many laws I would be able to pass. Every kingdom level would allow me to pass a law. I had 2 options, trial by combat or night watch. The first one would make disputes between villagers settled in a duel, granting me more happiness per week, but increasing the difficulty of illness quests slightly. The second one would make villagers serve part-time levies to defend the village from raiders, decreasing the difficulty of combat quests at the cost of some supplies per week. I decided to go with the first one to gain more happiness per week, and so we began week 5. Kafka's armies were drawing closer. The threat increased to 10 points. Providing the master builder with limestone should be our priority, and clearing the tolls could help with that. Aurelia, she went to see Lord Tomil, an old friend. He had fallen in with some rough characters lately, but he would send us some poppy seeds. We could send the court physician just as soon as they arrived. Aurelia also managed to help with the toll problem at High Bridge too. She was of great help. First petitioner, a raven has been coming to her home to steal food. They try hiding their things, but the creature always found a way, even opening cupboards. She asked for another pair of hands to help catch it. There was an option to complete this request using less resources than necessary, allocating just enough to reach the past pins without an additional consequence quest to my queue in the future. By using some of my resources, plus the witch, I got the bonus, plus some extra rewards. Next person said that the disease was spreading through their village. Some wandering priests from Atana showed up about a month ago. They made themselves comfortable in the town hall and began preaching. People began spouting strange ideas, changing in ways she couldn't imagine. The fate of Atana corroded our community like a disease. I used 2 action points from Oleg, completing the quest. Last petitioner, she claimed to be a fortune teller. She asked for breadcrumbs for her work. I used all the remaining action points to complete this quest. This made me lose a lot of happiness. I got scammed. Should be more careful next time. Got a letter for Sidani. I went to the council room and gave her the letter. She was really happy about it. She was practicing a new prank, hiding in plain sight. I had to find her in every single hiding spot, one after the other. Then she found some gold and medicine. Not bad. She was planning something to impress Cesalia. Operation Snowfall. She said that Julian will help her. Wanted lots of feathers. What was going on? I went to the wall to talk to Timo. He was practicing with his bow. Wanted to make his father proud. It was time to explore High Bridge to take care of the illegal tolls. The agents found an outpost that seemed to have been hastily abandoned. The queen really did make the toll disappear. Further along the road, a mighty oak stood with great gnarled arms reaching for the sky. Got some gold. Next, I wasn't able to reach the crossroads yet, so I explored the dirty side roads first. Further down the road, the agents encountered a band of hooligans making a ruckus. I didn't have enough resources or action points to do anything. Turned out that sticks and stones could indeed break some bones. The hooligans whooped and cheered as my agents were forced to retreat. Damn it, we reached the end of week 5. Lord Jakku and his pursuers were getting closer. First petitioner, they had come for Aurelia, for the queen. He brought her a gift. He wanted to speak with her in private. Must be the poppy seeds. Haven't forgotten about his illegal tolls. He was Tamil. Haji wanted a word with me in private. The people were talking. They were asking if the queen was being loyal to me. Strangers keep visiting her bedchamber. Lords bringing her gifts. I told him about the prince's tale and that the flowers were for a potential cure. Next, it was Sarani. She wanted some linen, not for any bandages. Timo, he hurt himself practicing with his bow. He asked me to come to the council room. I went there quickly. I asked if everything was alright. He was really sorry to cause trouble. He just wanted to help defend his father. I told him I would teach him how to use the bow correctly. Ex-petitioner said that his wife broke her leg in the field and now he was alone with all the work. Their crop would go to waste. Their potatoes feed the entire village and many won't eat tonight. I gave them food, wine, medicine, and also sent Alina. They would let everybody know in the village of my kindness. Next person introduced himself as Triffin, a traveling merchant by trade. A sickness had befallen in my lands. A plague, incurable, lethal, and spreading like wildfire. He brought a magic salve, applying it would let no harm come to me. This really seemed like a scam, so I rejected the offer. Happiness went up. Next petitioner said that their village was desperate. Several graves in their cemetery had been robbed. Families were really upset. They needed help to catch the grave robbers. I sent Oleg to take care of this. Last person was Julian. They saw a suspicious character slip past the walls and into the castle. He was certain the ruffian was part of the Swans, that bandit group. The Swans had been sighted in the Gravno castle. They were on the mind of the people, who wondered if enough was being done to keep the bandits at bay. The threat rose by 20 points. I asked Audrey about this. Maybe the bandit was disguised as one of the petitioners. Julian said he saw the regalia of the Swans. Audrey advised me to put the general to work on this issue. He could search the castle. I then asked Audrey where to get poppies from. It would be difficult to obtain, but he would send someone who had connections. Going to the council room, talked with the general, told him about the intruder on the castle. He would perform a full sweep of the premises. I then talked to Sudani. She hadn't seen anything out of the ordinary, although when she was eating earlier, she saw 7 chefs, but we only had 6. Timo said that the bandits wore a linen hood, the color of a swan's beak. I told the general about this. Usually we had 6 chefs, but Sarani saw 7. I also told him about the color of the hood. Next, I went to the bedroom, told Aurelia about the swans. She told me to find out what happened in the kitchen today. Her usual soup was seasoned wrong. Something was going on in the kitchen. Lastly, I went to the wall, where I bought a couple more limestones. I also told the general about Aurelia's food. It was missing tarragon. All the evidence pointed to the kitchen. Time to check it out. Checking the region map, I explored this sleazy weasel once again to take care of the illegal tolls. Got the location of another toll station in the forest road, but we didn't have enough supplies to go there. Later that evening, I told my wife that our advisor was asking about us, about marital problems, and that people were making up stories. I also said that I told my advisor about the tale. He didn't like it. Week 7. The deadline for Lord Jago's arrival advanced. The threat increased. When happiness reaches its lowest value, it would increase the threat to my kingdom. Today was the last opportunity to gather the resources for the wall. I sent my agents to explore the forest road. They found the tall barricade with the help of the directions from Marcel. Unfortunately, the bandits were no kinder to the royal agents when a struggle broke out. But the young bandits realized they were dealing with professionals. My men roughed up the criminals. The rest fled into the woods. We got more limestone. All that we needed, we got 10 just in time. Back to the throne room. The general found the intruder. She was in the kitchen the whole time, making friends with the chefs. Didn't even round when we found her. Sticky fingers, charming manners. She was a swan. She even confessed she was a proud member of the Swans. She said she didn't do anything wrong. She was only paying an old friend a visit. She said that throwing her into the dungeon wouldn't help my situation. Imprisoning her would maybe make the Swans angrier with me, but banishing her was also risky. She claimed to do nothing wrong, and it wasn't hard to even find her. So I followed my gut and banished her. To keep her in the dungeon would be a waste of the people's resources. She was now banished from Davern. Next, Aurelia. The doctor was here, was preparing the medicine, would be ready for tonight. She hoped everything went to plan. I told her we were in this together. This petitioner said that the villagers wanted to get involved with divination. They wanted to know more about their future. They asked for supplies, food, decorations. I couldn't afford this. This granted me more happiness because I rejected it. Next person said there was a monster. It torn through their village, leaving blood and bodies in its wake. Some said it was a big golden bear. Others a giant cat, even an angry god. But so many people were mauled. Maybe it was one of the lions. It ran into the woods, but the villagers needed to rebuild their gate and treat the wounded. I sent both of my agents and reached Kingdom Level 3. Last petitioner said that every rat in the Forsaken village found its way into their basement. They stored all their cheese down there. Okay. Without my help, they wouldn't know if they could keep their farm running. I had to use all of my action points to help him. Then, the general came. The ambush said we prepared for Lord Jacob's return. We supplied them too well. They were an appetizing snack for the swans. Turns out, they knew about the curvy thicket. They watched the men set up, waiting for them to sleep. And then they ambushed the army when they thought they were well hidden. Our men were badly beaten and taken hostage. All the supplies had been stolen too. We had been invited to their hideout to discuss. If we didn't get that outpost back, our entire plan would fail. Yanka offered her help. The swans were very clear with their demands. They wanted to speak with me directly. I accepted to go. I arrived at the place. The king himself at last. I was getting impatient. The name's Anna. An exquisite sight. I said, not, your majesty. Sadani and Timo were here. They were meant to stay in the castle. Can't even handle your own kids. No wonder it's been a strawberry pie with the frosting on top to pull strings here and there. No matter, we will keep it short for you. Just pass over the book. I had no idea what they meant. You don't have it? When we sent for you, we explicitly asked for the book. Is anyone else's armor really sticky? It's probably nothing. Did you forget to mention the book? I've been told you like to play stupid, not knowing what we want and all that. Let me put it this way then. Your men are now hostages. We politely request that you give us the book, if you want them back alive. I don't want anyone harmed. I will give you any book you want. Just explain what you're looking for. You're keeping it up, I see. The one that King Talis was looking for to heal his wife 3 years ago. You remember Talis, right? Some still believe you had a hand in meddling with that wine of his. I don't know if we can trust you. That's the problem. I say we will take it ourselves. We keep the castle. This whole outpost thing was very useful to get you away from the house. Your Grace, we must protect the castle. Aurelia and the babies are still inside. Damned, we need to fall back and regroup. The first snow, already. It's feathers. Sadani was to surprise Celia, a prank. She covered the soldier's armor in honey. Julian was meant to help gather the swan feathers, but he never mentioned fire or smoke. You were swan feathers. We had been tricked. Aurelia and the young ones were still in the castle. Agents, one of you sneak past them. Find the queen and find Eddie and Melly. Oh look, you have the strength of a bear. Go save my wife. Everyone else, storm the castle. They will not take it. Feathers everywhere. Our soldiers are struggling. Watch your heads. Out of the way. I'm sorry, Your Grace. I'll make you sorry. Maybe Jakku will get here in time to save us. Ruffian, dog of a king, I'll pluck and roast you. Time to stain your feathers red. Julian, help! Julian? Ah, King Eric. I was wondering when you would make an appearance. Julian, what is the meaning of this? About that, you have met my sister, Anna. You see, her and I run a little side gig. I'm positive you heard of us, the Swans. Turns out you can make quite a good living this way. We had a few hiccups selling those damn lions. The tolls were quite good for a while. Then, we learned about that curious book. Atana is promising quite a reward, and I have a feeling you didn't give the book to Anna either. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten the signal to do all this. And so, we arrive at the current situation. We will borrow your castle for a little while. Maybe we can agree to figure out some arrangements. But for now, I'm afraid I have to lock you out. Tell Sedani her sister would have loved the prank. What a view. You'll pay for this. I'm sure I will. In the meantime, there's only one thing left to say. My apologies. It's an emergency. I know what I need to do. Take up arms and defend the kingdom. I'll make you proud, Father. Timo! Our home. Is this my fault? Julian said it was supposed to be a prank. The Swans are professional bandits. You can't blame yourself. What will happen to me? Good thing the rain has already stopped. I don't think it stopped. Look, it's turning to snow. When the devil is at his wit's end. Oh no, this place again. You're awake. We were very worried, Your Grace. When you got shot, the general dragged you out of the field. Yanka didn't hesitate, and as soon as the general sat you in her cart, off we went. Sedani and Timo are with us. I'm afraid the queen didn't make it. She's dead? Forgive me, Your Grace. We simply don't know where she is. She might be a captive of the swans, or hiding somewhere. Maybe she's running around helplessly out there. But we'll find her, Your Grace. I will prepare a report on our next steps. If strength allows, you can see me at my tent and we can discuss. But I would strongly suggest that you stay in bed. We need you to recover, Your Grace. There's much to be done. I need to see the kids. Campsite, week 1. My shoulder is throbbing. My head is pounding. No time to waste. I must power through. I'm so glad you're well. Father, I'm so glad you're finally awake. Mother and the babies are still in the castle. What are we going to do? We must save them. I know, Sedani. I will take care of everything. What about you? Are you alright? I was so worried about you. When you were shot, you could have... This is all my fault. Are you mad at me? The swans were very clever. Your prank was just a distraction. So sorry, Father. I should have obeyed you. Will Mother really be safe? We're going to do everything we can to get her out. I wish I could help too. There must be something good I can do to help. What about Asalia? She will be here in a week. Your sister is a warrior, Sedani. She has been making it on her own all of this time. Have faith in her. We will bring Asalia safely home to us. Timo was really sorry about what happened. He asked for forgiveness, told him there was no need to cry, that I was just fine. Timo just wanted to defend the kingdom. I told him that mistakes occur in the heat of battle, and that he was a brave little warrior. Next, I talked with Audrey. I told him I was ready to hear the plan. The castle was lost. The queen, the princess, and the heir to the throne were in danger. Asalia will be soon arriving to Grebno. Lord Jakub would potentially have to face Kavka outside the gates. The swans must be made to pay for this. Audrey has been preparing a strategy. We may need to reach out to local lords for help once more. If 2, perhaps 3 lords offered us help, we could storm the castle. We knew the grounds and the hidden entrances. We also knew how many supplies they had. We had advantages many armies would lack. We'll make Julian pay for this. As for the queen, we would find her. Maybe we should reach out to some lords that helped us in the past. Lord Eaton, for example. He had become heavily involved in the treading of dust. A little too enthusiastic about his own supply. He was unreliable. Maybe the Dragon Slayer. But he was off on another adventure. He was very hard a fellow to get in touch with. Audrey made a report on nearby lords we could reach out to for support. Best options for now were Lady Irina and Lord Pavel. Irina was a proud woman, but her farmlands were prosperous. We may be able to appeal to her ego for help. Lord Pavel was extravagant, but he loved to flash his wealth around. He might be enticed to flash some of it our way. I decided to start with Irina. Let's hope she would answer our call. There was one more thing. Without the Grebno supply pantry, we could struggle with holding on to our supplies. Audrey suggested that we held no more than 5 sacks of supplies and 60 gold at a time. After thanking Yanka for what she did, she suggested to reach out to Lord Roland. Seemed like a decent fellow. I would keep that in mind. I had lost access to the Grebno pantry. At the campsite, I would only be able to hold on to a limited stock of supplies and gold. I had no choice but to use the happiness of the people to demand taxes and supplies. I had an available point to use. I chose the cemetery to gain more happiness per week at the cost of some gold. Week 2 at the campsite. The people from the nearby villages will be seeking my assistance. If we help them, we may end up with resources we could use to take back our home. There was a letter from Lady Irina. I needed to speak with Sedani too. First person lost a body, but it wasn't a pet. It was her daughter, or that's what he said. The man was tending to his stew. When he turned around, she was gone, wandering off into the woods. He needed to find her before the night fell. I sent Elena. He was grateful for this. Second person said that I was an imposter, that I wasn't a king. I told him he should address me as Your Grace. He told me to prove that I was a king. I told him I had nothing to prove to the likes of him. Happiness went off. Out with you. Last petitioner said that the banquet was late, the bride was ready, but her son, the groom, had disappeared. The marriage was supposed to lay the foundations to their family's financial future. The man wanted the wedding. He even proposed to her himself. And now he said he didn't know if he loved her. If the wedding didn't go ahead, they would lose everything. She asked me to find her avoidant son. I couldn't spend the resources on this. I rejected. She should understand her son's point of view. Audrey said that he sent for Lady Irina. All we needed to do was await her response. The pigeon, a letter. I opened it. My dear King Eric, what a lovely surprise to hear from you. Very sorry to hear of your little troubles at Grevno Castle. I myself have been dealing with some problems of my own. I appreciate the kind words on our farmlands, but your information is a little out of date. We had a serious famine this year. On top of everything, the swans are exploiting the situation. So it's honestly not a very convenient time for you to reach out. To put it plainly, I must refuse. Regretfully yours, Lady Irina. That's not what I wanted to hear. Well, Lady Irina wasn't our only choice, so we needed to reach out to the others. I chose Lord Roland. Hopefully he would have a bit more strength and courage. Week 3 at the campsite. I asked if there were any news of Lord Jakub or the Queen, but nothing. We had a message from Lord Roland. The soldier had details for us. The man from last week returned. His daughter was back in her arms. I got a scythe as a reward. Thank you for helping her. Next, the soldier. Message from Lord Roland. Lord Roland was undefeated for his whole career until now. Roland had fallen in battle. His people were in mourning. We didn't know what would become of them now. We needed to think of something else. Audrey said he would make more preparations. First petitioner of the day said that the winter was almost upon us. The healers were hard at work preparing medicines. Herbs, flowers, berries, they all must be harvested. But the foraging routes were covered in stubborn overgrowth. Prickly vines and bushes blocked the way. Landing on bramble will halt my progress, limiting how far I could advance. I needed to use the items to help me get through. And watch out for the fire. The scythe I got ignored the bramble. By reaching this pin, Elena would get a negative effect. But thanks to the scythe, we could ignore this, completing the quest. This person was a farmer. He needed my help. Recently, he put all the family savings into a patch of land. Trouble was, the local mob wouldn't leave them alone. They tore down his fences and tread all over his soil, threatening his family. I sent the general to take care of it. Last person was Sir Dasalat. He said that he would collect his fee and be on his way. What for? His knight's fee for the heroics he performed? Slaying monsters, rescuing damsels? I said no and got some happiness back. Buster. The soldier arrived. He brought news. He was given a letter from Violet. Perhaps she would consider helping us again. Opening the letter, Who Stole My Lion? A newsletter by Violet, announcing a crime. Some bloody thief only gone and stole my most prized possession. I'll be having my lion back, and I'll stuff the thief's head for a new toy. Mark my words. Since she lived in the area and we heard something about a lion or two, we should pay her a visit. If we found this thief of hers, she might even be happy to assist us. Audrey marked her states on our map. I went to explore it. The elite's modest holdings at the end of a long road. Big pastures stretched to the side of a tall wooden house with big windows. The entire place was rather overgrown. I visited her. Your Grace, perfect time. You must have heard about my emergency. Well, I received your bulletin and decided to come at once to help. The least I expect from you, if I'm being honest. Let's talk about me. Little while ago, I bought me a prize, a lion. I was fattening him up, but some filthy fingernail thief snatched him right out of his cage. On my own grounds. The lion was stolen? Unacceptable. You got it, Your Grace. Now I gotta live with the insult. Disrespectful to my art, you know. Taxidermy is beautiful, Your Grace. A fine art. You don't ever find it a little bit morbid? Please, don't you eat meat? You could survive on tatters, but you kill pigs, boars, cattle. When I kill a beast, it's for art. I kill with love and humanity. I've given these beasties a forever life. And now my lion's stolen. Some Radovian is involved. Help me find my lion. I am not dealing with anything else at the minute after all. Excellent. That is that then. Do you have any information at all about the thief? They say 2 people done it, and one of them sounded Radovian. My advisor will write up a list of places to search. If you find my lion, there will be no limit to my thanks, King Eric. I'll be in for anything. I guess we'd better start searching for those lions again. Via marked some locations on the map for us. I needed to find a way to ally with Via Lit before the threat reached the maximum. We had two places to investigate, the peaceful town or the old caravan. I went to the caravan. The agents came across an old caravan that seemed abandoned. Silks that were once bright in color were faded and torn, trampled into the snow. The travelers must have fled from bandits. The old carts were picked clean, but the agents still managed to find a little something, an item. Sturdy boots and herbs. Next, I went to the peaceful town. The real agents came upon a peaceful town along a muddy brown river that sparkled in the sun. Some kind of local festival was going on, with colorful banners flapping in the cold air. The agents were welcomed with roasted nuts and mule cider, but no one knew anything about a lion. Brought a sword and two more locations, footsteps and a farming community. I needed to check on the kids. The children were reading books. Morana was once a young goddess in Yav, renowned for her incredible beauty. One day, the fertility god of Yarilo came to explore Yav. Wherever he walked, flowers bloomed and birds sang. But when he laid eyes on Morana, they knew it was fate for them to fall in love. Bang! Flowers, butterflies, geese honking in the background. Honk! Look how beautiful, Timo. But their love was destined for trouble. A happy couple, love at first sight. They got married right away. Why wait? But behold, not long after the marital oaths were said, it turned out Morana and Yarilo were actually twin brother and sister. Wow, okay. Always leave the audience wanting more. That's how you keep them on the edge. I thought this would be a story for children, but I'm hooked. I didn't expect such a twist. That was the end of week 3. As we reached Kingdom level 4, I could choose another law. I had another point available, but the next laws required multiple points to unlock them, so I decided to pass. Week 4 at the campsite. No word from Grevno still. Someone is saying I threatened him for defending his ancestral lands. He asked if I wasn't sent by a lordling after he tore down his fence. The man I helped, I thought he was a humble farmer who was being terrorized by his mob. I ended up helping a lord's son to build himself a vacation house. I sent my agent and used the sword I got to help them. The young lord will answer for this. Next person had her horse stolen. I sent Elena to take care of this. Next person shot her own brother with an arrow in the back, but she meant no harm. She was practicing and he surprised her, spooking her. Now he was bleeding. She asked me to help him. She would even turn herself in. Once again, I told Elena to take care of it. Last person, he was the owner of a brewery. Their golden ale was a symbol of my influence, but the taverns refused to stock his product. They had to strike a better deal with someone out of town. I didn't have time to waste on this. We got more happiness and leveled up our kingdom. It was time to keep exploring. First, I checked out the footsteps. The agents followed the scent of campfire smoke on the bitter winter air. They found a hunter braving the elements at his solitary encampment. He told the agents that a couple of girls had recently stopped by his fire and shared rations. They seemed in good health, the hunter said, but they were arguing a lot. The agents accepted a spiced, warming sip from the hunter's wine skin before moving on. Got some herbs. Next, we checked out the farming community. Agents came upon the tumble-down walls and weathered stone of an old farming community. An innkeeper in a muddy apron told them some unusual travelers had recently passed through. Apparently, there were 2 young women in a warrior's garb, and one of them had a funny accent. The agents didn't know what to make of this, but they enjoyed a generous meal in the old inn. A soldier arrived. He brought news. He was approached by a hooded character. They said this clinking box was for the king. It came with a letter too. I recognized the wine-colored wax on the seal. This was from Baron Kavka. By being a friend to Jakub, we had made an enemy of him. Eric, I must say it was hard to find you, now that you are no longer living at Grevno. My resources are luckily unlimited, and just wait until my new road is complete. I was surprised to find you led a ragged pack of bandits to your house sitting for you. Rest assured, I have relieved all parties of the keys to the kingdom, and your house is now mine. If there's no king on the throne of Tavern, your lands become mine, do they not? Perhaps I will keep the throne warm for you, while you muster what little forces you have left. Your odds are not very good. Have a little gift from me to comfort yourself before the end. Baron Kavka of Brassus. Kavka has taken Grevno. Aurelia was inside Grevno. Our children were inside Grevno. We needed to go back for them. They knew our location. That wasn't good. If Aurelia were Kavka's prisoner, he would have mentioned it. But what happened to her? Did the swans kidnap her? Maybe Kavka was playing with us. The nightmares. Again, there was music. I was losing my mind. There you are, darling. Come take a seat. Come play with us, buddy. We saved you a seat. Him? Really? At last. Having a rough day? Don't you worry. Relax. There are some cards. You're in. Oh, I know, darling. Kafka took your castle. How very sad. Even worse, Aurelia is still in there. With your devil child too. Your wife. She had it tough, you know? And what did you do to help her? I could only choose napping, hunting, and drinking. Of course, anything you wanted, except to help your wife. I didn't do any of those things. I tried so hard to protect her and the young prince and princess. I gave everything I could to build a wall to keep them safe. Of course you did, love. That's why she's probably dead. Don't you worry, hon. We don't judge here. Much. What good did a wall do you? You had no idea as to help her then, and nothing for her now. Moving on, the kid. They're playing with knives, deadly animals. Surely that isn't safe. What do you do? I could only choose arrows, hot oil, poison, and wolves. Of course, you give them more dangerous stuff to play with. How very reasonable. I would never. I tried my best to take care of them. Timo only got hurt because I wasn't there. Yes, you poor thing. No wonder they tried to kill you. Don't listen to him. You're alive. Sort of. Moving on. I know, darling. These questions are really hard. Tricky, even. We'll go easy on you this time. Perhaps try something easy now. Let's see. You are with your loved ones. The whole happy family is with you. You're spending the time playing hide and seek, like all good times. I'm happy for you. Oh, what's this? There's flames everywhere. You have to sacrifice one person to save everyone else. Who will you pick? I told you it's easy. You've done it before. I needed to choose between Sedani, Aurelia, Lorsulia, or the prince, but none of them were worth anything except for Lorsulia. I declined, but I couldn't keep going. I was forced to make a decision. I had to choose Lorsulia. Well played. Lovely, the way her red dress matches the flames, is it not? I didn't have a choice. How was I to know Ivo would call my daughter a witch and burn her alive? I wanted her happiness. Ivo is the one who killed her. I can hear you. Be calm now. What's done is done. I think it's time to wake up. Your Grace, thank Perun. Although I know it is your tendency to faint in times of strain, you were out for longer than usual. The wound from the lad's arrow is not grievous itself, but perhaps Chernabog has gotten into the opening. I felt really tired, and I had the weirdest dream, but there was no time to rest. Audrey proposed to move somewhere more secure. I needed a proper space to recover. We needed to find this damn lion. I get the Via to help. We reached the end of week 4. Now I had 2 points available. I went for a blessed herd, dedicating certain animals to the gods for protection, forbidding their slaughter or trade. This will grant me 10 prosperity per week, adding extra food quests to the queue. With Kafka taking over my castle, reclaiming it will be far more challenging than I anticipated. My time was running out to find allies and mount a defense. First petitioner was a fisherman. With the whole village to feed, his master was working him to the bone. He had no nets to fish. I decided to help him, even getting a bonus. Second person was Valak. They came offering their skills, which of course I accepted. We needed skilled hands of all kinds in these times. The petitioner said that the villagers were preparing for the winter solstice holidays. They asked for a little help to brighten the mood. I decided to help. Next, it was Sir Dusselat again. I rejected him. Lastly, a peasant said that there was something lurking in the woods. After setting some traps, the next day they got off without nothing inside. I sent Stan to take care of this. We still needed to find the lion, so I explored the hunting lodge. My agents came upon a hunting lodge that seemed to have been ransacked. At first, it looked like a robbery. Then the agents saw the blood in the snow, some paw prints. The inhabitants of the lodge seemed to have left in a hurry, and the agents found a few valuable things. Medicine, hearty stew. We were getting closer. Before ending the week, I went to talk to Sedani. She kept reading the story of the book. We reached the end of week 5. Veleg was our new addition, a hunter with plenty of agent points. We had another available point, but then again, we needed more to unlock the next loss. Week 6. The trapper came back. He trapped a little boy? The child was living off the scraps he used as bait. Fortunately, they took him in, and the wife was overjoyed. He found the son. It was nice to hear good news for once. He gave me something in return. Next, it was Timo. He wanted me to read him the story of Morana. As Sedani was busy, I agreed to do so. But he didn't enjoy my narration. Then Sedani appeared. They went away to read more of the book. Next peasant said that they were walking past the old well in the woods, when suddenly they heard the sound from within. A mysterious howl. They thought the village well was haunted, or maybe there was a person trapped inside. I sent my hunter to take care of this matter. Next person said that their husband was possessed. First, he was burning hot as a coal. Then, he spoke in tongues. And last night, he ran off. In the middle of the night, their sons found him sitting in a tree, baffled. Even if he wasn't possessed, maybe he was ill. I sent Elena to take care of this. Last one wanted to start a school for what? I wasn't following. Birds make lovely companions. Intelligent, loyal, quiet. Well, maybe none of those things, but they made him less lonely. He asked for enough supplies to build another barn or a house. I couldn't spend resources like this. Rejecting this gave me some happiness. It was time to finish the lion's search. As they passed through a quiet village, the agents heard the commotion of angry voices and clanging swords. They came upon a pair of locals dueling in a muddy pasture with old blades, as others cheered them on. Everyone seemed too engrossed in their activity to talk, and the agents soon moved on. Still nothing. But we found some medicine. And once again, I went to check on the children. The last pages of the book were missing. Week 7. The peasant from the well came back. They were able to dig up the well. There was no ghost inside after all, but the noise was from a stray dog. The poor little thing had tumbled in somehow. His leg was broken, but he was being treated now. When he's healed, they would adopt him and take care of him. Good news. We got some sturdy boots. Next person was a Radovian. They had nowhere to go and they needed help. The villagers didn't share food or shelter with them. They didn't feel safe. They didn't want to make any trouble. They just wanted to survive. Radovians or not, they didn't deserve to starve. I helped them. As petitioner, wanted to pursue a new career. They wanted to become a feared highwayman, a brigand of old, terror on the high roads. I wouldn't encourage this. We needed to find this lion. Next location was a secluded village. Agents came to a secluded village in the forest, a collection of huts made with plant material. Several villagers ran to the gate to greet the agents, all of them talking at once. A little girl hands the agents a drawing of a lion. "I saw it," she shouts. In the clearing in the woods, an elder gave the agents directions to the place the child described. The agents had a simple meal of bread and stew before moving on. Finally, we got some metal and herb, and most importantly, the final location. Checking up on Sedani, she was missing home, but it wasn't so simple. We couldn't just go back. She wanted to help. She said Julian was just a bandit. Maybe he wanted more gold. I told her about Lord Kavka. She wanted to talk to them, convince them. She wanted to find more gold to pay off the castle. She would start the search for it. Week 8. First person had a brewery. Didn't this happen before? The taverns refused to stock his product. I couldn't waste my time on his business affairs. Ex-petitioner said that their neighbor thought they were a witch, claiming she could bless them for a prosperous year. She had been chanting and howling day and night, keeping the whole town up for weeks. I had nothing to help in this case. I had to decline. Finally, it was time to find this lion. Agents found an abandoned keep far from Grevno, at the brink of Tavern's borders, close to a tunnel. The place was ransacked long ago, but agents still found some supplies. Tana's influence seems to be strong around here. We got a scythe and some wine, but no lions. This search was never ending. Week 9. With temperatures dropping fast and nights growing colder with each passing moon, it was crucial to secure an alliance with Vialit before the threat reached its peak. We didn't have much time. The man returned. His daughter was back, got a scythe as a thank you. Next peasant said that their garbage container had been knocked over for the third night in a row. They said I needed to help him deal with the culprits. People had seen tiny children in fur coats, little bullies with ringed tails, a tiny bandit gang. I sent Velek to take care of this. Next person said that their chest was on fire and her head was whirling. They wanted Casper's hand in marriage. Didn't waste time on this. Next person said that bad fortunes plagued my kingdom, that had a bice problem. She was a famous bice hunter. No, we had no more time to waste. beast. We needed to find this lion. The agents found out to search the area of the woods the village elder had marked on their map. They found many promising signs along the trail. Tufts of fur, the carcass of a bird, some blood. Then, a lot more blood. They found the remains of a lion. Crows already picking clean its ribcage. The agents hurried back to report to the king about this. This was not good. Not only he was dead, but Violet wouldn't be able to use him for her purposes. I want to tell her the news. Well, look who it is. You got something to tell me, King Eric? Anything you wanna confess? We found your lion, but it was not alive. I'm sorry. You're lying to my face right now. Take me for a fool, do you? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. All this time that lying tongue's been paying service to my face. What are you talking about? Unacceptable. The jug is up, your grace. I caught me the thieves, and the ringleader confessed. Come to find out, this ringleader is someone very familiar. Someone royal, in fact. Any guesses? My wife and my babies are in trouble. All I've been able to think about is my own family. It was your daughter Asalia who stole my lion and her Radovian dog of a comrade. They did this crime with deliberate intention to take the lion's life from my loving hands. Said he should be roaming free instead, in the winter. Well now, it's her life I want. Asalia and Maya are here? I need to find her. Where did you last hear news of Asalia and Maya? What are you going to do? Nothing you can say. We're on the criminal's trail. When I find them, death by hanging. I'll have Asalia's royal little head, and if I want a new stuffed animal, there's always the Radovian dog. Hanging? Whatever happened to a fair trial for one's crimes? You do what you want in your house, your grace. I do what I want in mine. Wait, you ain't got no house right now, do you? So be kind and get out of mine. This is the worst possible news. Now we were in a mess indeed. There was no way Lady Violet would help us. My daughter's heart was in the right place, trying to rescue the beast. Regardless, we had better find Asalia and Maya before Via did, alongside our existing search for Queen Aurelia. And now, with no help from Lady Violet, our situation went from bad to worse.
Bye.
Not again. Welcome. Let's play again, shall we? Yes. Sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the game. Let us go over what has happened last. You have exhausted all your options for securing an alliance that could help you win your castle back. It must be very hard for you, I know. How do you reckon your daughter must feel though? Hunted by a lunatic. Asalia, you dear troublemaker. Seems she keeps giving you a hard time even when she's not around. What a prankster, that one. It would be a shame if you never saw her again. If you ever did though, what would you say? I could only say that it was her fault. Damn her and her friend. No, I need to find her. I need to see my daughter again. Oh, you're a pumpkin, aren't you? Worry not, it's alright. Your daughter will be taken care of. Moving on, Via is quite a character. Not only is she after your now eldest daughter, but she won't help you take back your home. You're lucky, really. Can you imagine her face if she did help you? Via gets your throne back, only to find out about the devil child. I bet she will try to stop him and make a fine display. Quite an exhibit, that would be. Now for a second, let's say you have a chance to deal with the tail situation. What do you do? Chop it right off. That is not an option. It never was. Doctors always said the little prince might not survive the procedure. You're right. What a shame that would be. He's going to die now anyway, so the end result is the same. But this time, people will find out about the tale. Everyone will make a mockery out of you and the whole kingdom. That's kind of true, isn't it? Moving on. Seems everything is lost. No allies, no saving your family, no saving the future of your kingdom. Tavern. Do you think all of that could have been avoided if you had one more chance? Not that you do, mind you, but let's play pretend for a second. What would you do to fix the wall, to protect it all? How am I supposed to fix the wall with a pie? This is all nonsense. I want out of this game. You're just forcing me to lose no matter what I choose. Clever, that one. He's piecing it together. Shame, it's a bit too late. Your castle, your family, your legacy. It looks like you will lose everything, hon. Who can possibly step in to save the day? To save Grevno Castle, all of Tavern? You? You either need a miracle, or it will take the devil himself to get you out of your hole. Or perhaps even a god. How are you not yet crying? This is insanity. How do I get out of here? Calm down now, darling. I've had enough. Let me go. Eric? Eric, can you hear me, darling? Aurelia? Oh, thank Faroon you're alive. You're ill, but alive. When I saw you get shot outside the gates, my heart stopped. I thought Valis would have taken you into his underworld by now. The king has been through a lot. He just needs plenty of rest, and hopefully he will be back to strength soon enough. Oh, Eric, please pull through. The kingdom needs you. Keats needs you. I need you. I will stay with him. You should see Sedani, your grace. She will be glad to see you. Thank you, Audrey. Rest for now, my love. I will tend to you before the moon is above us. We reached the end of chapter 2. I lied in bed, unconscious. My wife Aurelia saved me. Now it was all on her. The fate of the kingdom laid in her hands. These were the first 100 days of Yes, Your Grace Snowfall. But this was just the beginning.